Well, folks, it's that time of the year again. Taking down Christmas lights after a successful 2023 Christmas light display. For me, I like to start on the bottom first. I like to get all that stuff out of the way. More specifically, all my bushes, all my spotlights. I like to get all that out of the ground before I pull out the ladders and get up on the roof. Now, as you guys have seen, I really only have one vantage point for my house when it comes to getting the Christmas lights down. I usually go to the back, put the ladder on the deck, and I go up there. But again, it's good to have these out of the way because one thing you'll see when I take these down, you probably won't see it in this video, but I will show it next year, is that when I take down the snowflakes, I actually do that in the front, so I always start up top. So as you'll see, I'm ripping down the net lights right now. Now there's a special way I like to put these away, you're going to see in a second here, but all I'm really doing right now is just making sure that I pull them off, fold them up, and put them in the box. So yeah, not a whole lot to it, just rolling everything up to avoid tangles and strands getting caught up and intermingled with one another when I come to put them up next year. So that's really all there is to it. Now real quick, I want to go ahead and show you this nice little organizational tactic I'm trying. So all I did is I folded the net lights like a bunch of blankets, and what I'm doing is I'm putting these away with my regular string lights as well because I want to keep them separate from my C9 lights. So all I did really just to keep the tangles and intermingles out is I put down a blanket in between the string lights and the net lights just to keep them from getting tangled. Then my porch lights here, you guys know this is my new little hack I tried this year. Worked out really well, just taking those down there. And just like that, I'm going to come back, put a new bulb in, and boom, de-Christmas, done. Take the lights off, put them away. Now, I have a lot of people asking me, why don't you get fake wreaths and you can leave the lights on? Well, I like the real ones just because of the authentic look of Christmas, as I mentioned in my last video. So, it's pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory there. So, at this point, I'm nearing the end of my ground stuff, getting all that taken down. Oh, there we go. Ceremonial kicking of the real wreath. I'm pulling down my lights on the garage here. Now this is, check this out. There you go. Look at that. All I have to do is undo that tape right there. Boom. Watch this. Watch me get scared right now. I was like, oh god. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get ready to label everything. Now me, I like everything to have its own color. Like, for instance, ridges get their own color, peaks get their own colors, gutters get their own colors, and windows and doors get their own separate colors as well, as you'll see in a second here. Okay, are you ready for this? You guys know I take pride in meticulously putting up my lights, but the way I put them up allows me to very quickly take them down. You ready? Boom! And moving on to my ridges. Now this I did have to get on the roof for. Everything else I try to stay on the ground as much as possible because when it gets cold, ice can form on the roof. But when you do the ridge lines, you kind of have to get up there. There's no choice. So if you want to get the ridge lines down same day, I'd plan a nice warm day where there's no snow or ice on the roof. If you live in an area where that happens, just simply take them down and roll them up like I'm going to show you. I just want to give you a little glimpse of my thought process here when I'm folding these up. So when I fold up my lights, this year I do something a little bit different than I've done in other years. I'm actually wrapping them around cardboard, wood, whatever have you, because what I found is when you do the regular wrap, under rope, all that type of stuff, sure it works well in the beginning when you're taking them down, but the problem is in the long run, it just gets tangled later on when you go to put them up next year. So one way to avoid that is to wrap them around something and wrap them up smaller, because the shingle and gutter clips I have on some of them, again, will cause that tangling, but when they're controlled, wrapped if you will, when they're wrapped in a controlled space like this, they're actually not going to tangle. So that's what I like to do. And on top of that, I've also got them labeled. Like as you can see, I got white for window, green for gutter, blue for peak, red for ridgeline, and yellow for doors. So that's kind of what we're doing here. So the way it goes is I pick an end to start with. Now for me it's the female end because when I'm putting these up next year I'm going to start with the male ends, as you guys know. I like to start with the males on the roof, so I just kind of wrap them like that and start my wrap. This, what do you call it?
this jump cord on here. Any jump cords I have paired with lights, I just wrap them up with that particular set of lights so I don't have to play the guessing game next year. And it saves me some labels. There you go. That is the method to my madness this year. Stay tuned for December of this year to see how that works out. All right, 8 hours later, back to normal. It sucks. That's all done. Next I gotta tackle in there. Gotta tackle that beast. That's gonna take a while.
If you made it to this point in the video, you're all right in my book. While I got you, I'd like to let you know that while we're not doing Christmas lights, during the season we are showing you everything you need to know about how to have the deepest, darkest, greenest, thickest lawn on the block, in addition to providing you guys the resources to do so. So if you'd like to come along on this journey, get your lawn looking good in the prime of the season, this is the channel for you. Happy New Year.